along in this week-long homeschool mom reading kind of vlog. Welcome to this House of Walls. My name is Ashley, and here I love to share all things secular homeschooling and reading along with whatever else I feel like sharing. And this vlog is going to be very much all of that. It's just gonna be a little bit of a mashup of whatever. I have tried filming an intro to this twice already, and like I did the intro, but then the rest of the vlog just fell off and I wasn't really motivated to do it. So I'm going to change it up a little bit. It's going to be a little bit of homeschooling. It's going to be a little bit of reading. It's going to be just kind of whatever I feel like sharing. So let's get started. Surprisingly, I don't have Charlie in here. I actually have our other cat, Millie, and she is trying to chase a ball around. I think she just knocked it under a chair. It's a thing right now. All right, but always, I'm going to take a sip of coffee and let's get this vlog started. All right, it is Monday morning and I have set up for the school week. I did it this morning. I was not getting it done over the weekend. So I woke up this morning and got homeschool planning done. So we are set for today and roughly for the rest of the week. We have no huge plans this week. Today and tomorrow, my husband will be off, so that kind of changes just like the schedule of the household, but we are still going to be doing school. Thursday, we have co-op just like always, and then like some other small things throughout the week, but nothing big, which I think was where my problem was like the last times that I've tried to film this vlog, is that we've had other stuff going on, and that makes it difficult. But I'm just going to kind of make it whatever, and I'm not going to try and box myself in. So my goal is that starting the vlog today on Monday, and I'm going to go through Friday afternoon and just kind of see what happens. I would like to share what I'm reading. I'd like to share what my kids are reading. I'd like to share just like little things throughout the week and call it a day. First thing that I'm going to start with is reading for today and what we have planned. All right, so let's start with what my 5th grader and I will be doing. So we start our mornings with a morning meeting. And so today, for that morning meeting, we're going to be pulling in a Thanksgiving book. This is a Plump and Perky Turkey. We've had this one for years, I think since our first year homeschooling. It's cute. It is not the best published book. Print on here is teeny tiny, but it's a cute little story, so we're going to read that. We have also been going through Red Cloud, a Lakota story of war and surrender, so I'm going to be reading a little bit of that. I'd say we're halfway through the book, so hopefully in the next couple days we will finish that. And then with both of my kids at separate times, I will be reading What Can I Say? This is a kid's guide to super useful social skills to help you get along and express yourself. My 5th grader is much more open to it. My 9th grader, not so much, but I am having them both do it because I think that there are some good skills to be had in here. So today we will be starting with how to introduce yourself, and we'll read a nice little chunk of it, probably until chapter 2. So from page 22 through 31. And they're short little pages, lots of cute pictures. So that is our morning meeting for today. And then for other reading, his individual reading, he is reading Book Scavenger. This is just a cute little kid's mystery book and kind of book hunt, kind of all those kinds of things all in one. He has 5 tabs left, so if I can get him to read it on Thursday on their co-op day, he'll finish it this week, which is what I would like him to do. So we have that book. And then today we will be finishing, as I read aloud, The One and Only Bob by Catherine Applegate. We are really enjoying this one. I'm maybe not enjoying it as much as The One and Only Ivan, but it's still a good read. So I was hoping to have this one done over the weekend, and that just didn't happen because I do have our next book lined up. So, gotta get moving on that. All right, the last thing that I have to talk about with my 5th grader is our history reading for today. So we are going to be doing Curiosity Chronicles. We're doing Snapshots of Modern History, Volume 1. We are really enjoying this. So today, that's right. So the section that we are doing right now is called the reservation system. So we are learning about forced marches of Native Americans to reservation systems and all of the atrocities that happened with that. So we are going to be doing chapter 16, which is Poundmaker Sues for Peace. So we'll be going through these pages. Oh yeah, we've seen this in the Red Cloud book too, but standing on a pile of bison heads. Not a good look. Okay, this one is a little long, but it'll be good. We will be reading that during our history time. Right, now for my 9th grader, his book that he is currently reading is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. He is listening to this on audio, so I'm not exactly sure where he is in this. I'm hoping that he'll get a nice little chunk of it done today. Heads up also, I am reading this. My goal is to pre-read books that he is reading before he gets to it. I got a little bit behind, but I am about halfway through. So I am hoping to finish this within the next 2 days because that is how much time I have left on it with Libby and I cannot re-borrow it. So I will be sitting down and listening to this every chance that I get and finishing it within the next 2 days. My son obviously won't be doing that. He is going to be taking his time and digesting it at a much more leisurely pace. This is his current read right now. And then some books that he will be bringing in for school. So he is doing prehistory for his history. So he'll be doing some pages from Prehistoric Life. It is a wonderful DK book that he has been using. He is also going to be reading a chapter of The Story of Life in 25 Fossils, Tales of Intrepid Fossil Hunters and the Wonders of Evolution. So this one, not bright and colorful, a little bit more wordy, but a good read so far. My 9th grader does most of his work individually, but I still love to have a time where he and I just come sit together and do some reading. So that is where he will be listening to What Can I Say? And then this week we are going to be doing True or False. This is a CIA analyst's guide to spotting fake news. So this is part of our civics credit that he will be getting. And so we're reading this and another book. Today we are going to be doing chapter 8, When Racist Conspiracies Become Fake News. It is not a super long chapter, so we will be doing that. And then there's also this little extra thing. The alien invasion that wasn't. Does that go with the next chapter? Maybe not. All right, but we'll read both of those today. And then this we had kind of paused on because I had changed his schedule and moved some things around. But I do want him to finish this book. There was a study guide that went along with it. We are not going to be doing that. I just want him to read the book. And that is How to Read Literature Like a Professor, a lively and entertaining guide to reading between the lines. So we will be catching up on this. He is going to be starting today with chapter 11, More Than It's Gonna Hurt You Concerning Violence. So he is going to be spending 2 days reading through this chapter. So I'm going to let him choose how much he would like to read today and get through that. So he has that book. And then the last book that I have to talk about for my 9th grader is How to Be Good at English Language Arts. We are using this just as a reference book before he does a different workbook for kind of like grammar stuff. And so he is going to be going through this and reviewing pronouns today before doing some stuff in a workbook. Then for me, like I said, am reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I'm really enjoying this. This is my first time reading it, and I had kind of put it off because I think that in the original Hunger Games trilogy, the author paints President Snow in such a light that he's really like revulsive. Like I don't like him at all, and he's not supposed to be liked at all. You know, he's the bad guy. He's the leader of all of this. But I am finding it really interesting to read this and see what, especially the capital, was like 10 years after the rebellion. So we are only 10 years into the districts having to do the reaping and do the Hunger Games. And so seeing what the capital is like and how kind of primitive the Hunger Games was set up as compared to what we see it for, you know, the original trilogy and the differences that were made in those years, I find it very interesting and fascinating. So I'm having a really good time reading this. Like I said, I do have to finish this within the next 2 days because I will be losing my audio. So I have some reading to do. I am also not very far into it, but I do want to pick it up and read it kind of sporadically throughout the month, and that is Never Whistle at Night. This is an Indigenous dark fiction anthology. So far I have read the introduction by Stephen Graham Jones. He writes Indigenous horror books, and I've never read anything by him, but I did really like his introduction. And then I read the first one, which was Kushtuka by Matilda Zeller, and that one was definitely very interesting. So next I will be reading White Hills by Rebecca Roanhorse, and hopefully get, just sporadically get a little bit further in this book. That is all of our reading plans for today. It is going to be cold today. We have a cold front coming through. It's going to be like our first real cold front of the season, with a freeze warning tonight and everything. So I am planning that we will just cozy up. Could probably stand to get out and do something today. I'm just not quite sure what. But first, our main goal is to start our school day. So I am going to turn the camera off and go see how my kids are doing with getting ready and get our school day started. I will be back later with an update. it is now in the afternoon. So you saw me getting ready this morning, and it's very exciting because it is nice and cold and crisp. I have a big old sweater on. I did have to open the bathroom door while I was getting ready because our bathrooms are the warmest rooms in the house, and I was dying and I was gonna sweat off all of the makeup that I was putting on. Here's Millie. It's been a long time since she has been in a video. She's always around. She's just not always front and center like Charlie is. It's nice to have her come in and want to be here. So as for reading, my kids, basically what they were reading yesterday is kind of what we're doing today also. I will say we did finish the one and only Bob yesterday. It was good. It was not the one and only Ivan, but I'm glad that we read it. I think we have the other 2 books in the series. I don't know that I will continue the series, but I know that my son definitely wants to, and so he will continue on with that. It is cloudy and windy out, so the light keeps shifting. So that's always fun. In a second, I'm going to be calling my son back in to get back to some schoolwork this afternoon. We are going to be starting in the footsteps of Crazy Horse, and so I think that this will be very good to read because we also just finished Red Cloud today, and so we went through this whole picture book, and it definitely, mentions Crazy Horse, and so he's really making these connections between these and our history reading, which is great. But other than that, the rest of our reading is very much the same. My 9th grader is doing the same books that he did yesterday for history. He's still doing the literature book. We did What Can I Say again? It's really the same setup as what we did yesterday. The biggest thing that I have to talk about is my reading. So I got a chunk done in The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I have that much left. So I am on page, 381 out of 517. Oh, yeah, I still have a chunk to go. But it is a quick read on audio. So I am hoping that I will be able to finish this tonight. Yeah, I'm going to put, I have to. I'm going to run out of time on the audio. So tonight, this is going to be finished. I am really enjoying it. Is it the Hunger Games? No, but I am really loving the connections that we're making between people and places that we hear about in the original trilogy in some kind of form or fashion. And so that's really cool. And I'm really curious to see how President Snow becomes President Snow. We are not quite there yet. Obviously, he is coming from a very influential family who's very known. They've fallen on hard times. And so he has that drive to keep his family name going. But he's also very kind of innocent in many, many ways that he is not when we see him in the trilogy. So I'm interested to see what happens in the next 150 pages that I have to see how we get from this kind of innocent 18-year-old boy to President Snow. So that is kind of all the update that I have. I will be back when I have finished this to kind of give my final thoughts and tell you about the next book that I'm going to be reading. All right, makeup has not happened yet today. There's a glare, so I take my glasses off for a second. We are still in the process of getting ready for the day, but I came back to the schoolroom to do some planning. But I wanted to give a reading update. So last night I finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I really enjoyed it. It is the lowest rated of all of the Hunger Games type books on Goodreads. And I can see why maybe people didn't like this one as much. Now, I still have not read Hey Mitch's Story, which has a very high rating. But I can see, it does end. You get a lot of, it's 500 pages. You get a lot of story, and then it kind of ends. But I do think that the way that it leaves it, he has kind of well, he has lost that innocence. He has decided to make some choices. And obviously you see where he goes from there. Like, you see what the capital and all of the districts in Pan Am become in his kind of ruling. And so I think that it does a really good way of, like, he chooses this path that you know what happens. I really liked it. I did give it 5 stars. I've given all of these books 5 stars. I will be picking up the other one, which is Haymitch's story, but I have some other books to read first. The book that I decided to pick up is one that I need to have read next week for book club. I want to get it done now because I have a bunch of fantasy books that are coming out, or the audio will be available, or all kinds of stuff, and they are nice, big, chunky fantasy books. So I decided to pick up Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. This is a climate fiction book, and there's a woman that washes up on shore of an island near Antarctica. On this island is a father and his 3 children. There used to be scientists. We're not quite sure why they aren't there anymore. And there's like a huge seed, what do they call it? Like a storage place for seeds. I don't know if it says on the front, but there's a huge facility there to store seeds so that things don't get lost, because obviously there are things happening in the rest of the world. So I made it like 40 pages last night, which was pretty good. Yeah, I'm on 42. There's definitely going to be some things that happen. It is not a long book. It is just 300 pages. So I'm really interested to see what happens. I've heard amazing things about this online in like Bookstagram and things like that. And then a couple of the women from book club have already read it and they loved it, like couldn't put it down. So I am hoping that later today I can put my headphones back on and listen to a big chunk of this. All right, so yesterday also my 5th grader and I started In the Footsteps of Crazy Horse. I have read this before, he has not, and so we have a bunch of tabs to go, but we got started. It's a good read, and so I'm excited to share it with him. Other than that, all of the reading that my kids did was kind of like the same as the day before. I am about to sit here and do some planning, and then I will share what we are planning to read today. We kind of block schedule it, and the first 2 days of our school week, my kids do history, and then my 5th grader on the 3rd day does science, and then the 4th day he does like our Fun Friday kind of stuff. My 9th grader, he similar has the 2 days of history, and then he has 2 days of science. So we are going to be moving into our science portion of the week. So I will share what that is going to be. And then I need to finish getting myself ready. The rest of me is all ready. I just haven't done makeup yet because that's just how it happened. All right, I'm going to chug this and plan, and I'll share that. Planning is done. So I'm going to go put some makeup on here in a second and not look so scary. But I wanted to share what our reading plans are for today. So we will be doing more of What Can I Say? Again, just a couple of pages from it. I think we're finishing a chapter. So how to make small talk, give and receive a compliment, and then a pop quiz. So short and sweet. And then with my 9th grader, he obviously is going to continue reading Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. And then, I don't know if, I guess I've mentioned this, but we've brought this back in. So how to read literature like a professor. He's going to read half of chapter 12 in this. And then for his science, he is using Biology 2 from Real Science Odyssey. And he is going to be reviewing chapters 1 through 6. So he's going to be using his textbook and reading through those chapters and make sure that he has everything all set, because then on Friday he's going to be doing a test. My 5th grader, he obviously is going to continue book scavenger. He has 3 tabs left, so I am going to encourage him to take it to co-op tomorrow because he has some downtime, and read a tab at least so that we can finish it this week. And then obviously we will be doing In the Footsteps of Crazy Horse, and then he is doing his engineering unit from Harbor and Sprout. And so this week we are going to be reading about aerospace engineering. So that will be a lot of fun. So that is all the reading that we have planned. And then I am hoping to get, of course, my reading done. And I think we're going to try to go to a park today. There's a new park group that I've heard about, and thought it would be fun to go check that out. We could use another park group. That is our plans. I'm gonna go make myself presentable for the rest of the world, and I'll be back later with more updates. Let's do a really quick reading update. So my kids are doing school right now. So at the end of the day, I will pull all the things out that they are reading and kind of wrap up what we did today and wrap up this video. But I didn't pick up the camera yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday, and we had co-op, and it was just a really busy day. It was a lot of fun. The kids' classes went really well, and then on top of all of that, we also had a craft fair that parents or kids can put on during the lunch hour. So, just fun, but busy. I was able to purchase these really cute chicken earrings from my friend who sells earrings and jewelry. I also got some turkeys that I immediately put on yesterday and was wearing and will continue to wear from now until Thanksgiving. But we got home and we were really tired. So we kind of just all zoned out for a while. Finally, in the evening, after dinner, after we watched a bit of a movie that we were watching, I went in and picked up my book. So, Wild Dark Shore. I think I'm current with where... Ooh, I am not. I am further than this. All right, hang on. Let me figure out where I am. Okay, I think I figured out where I am. So that I think is where I am. So I'm on page like 233. I am going to be in the final stretch. I'm going to be picking this up during lunch and finishing this. I am really enjoying this. I think it's going to be a 5-star book. I think that there's really good mystery and like everybody is unreliable, which I kind of like in books to a degree. I am ready for some answers to start coming together, but, you know, this family is a mystery, and so is Rowan and the things that she is telling about why she's at this island, and I'm really interested to know what happened. Where did all of the scientists go? Why are they no longer there? And why is this family still there? And is anybody actually coming to help them? I'm really curious. So I will be finishing this today during lunch, and then just as a little sneak peek, I am going to be picking up Quicksilver to reread it. I read this in January of this year and really liked it. I did give it 5 stars. The new book comes out on Tuesday, and I know that between January and now November, I have read a lot of books, probably like almost 100 books in between these 2 books. So I am going to pick this up and do a reread. It is a chunky book. It's like 600 pages. I want to go into book 2 fully remembering everything that happened in this book. So that is what I am going to do. So this weekend and probably into the beginning of next week, I am going to be listening to this and just having fun with it before the new book comes out on Tuesday. So that is my little bit of reading update. And yeah, like I said, I will be back later this afternoon to kind of show what my kids have done for reading for today and to wrap up this vlog. I am here for an update. It is the next day because by the time that we were done with schoolwork yesterday, my husband and I ran out. We actually did a little date to Costco because why not? And then by the time that we got home, it was dinner time and we were watching some shows. It is now time to update and give my final, what we read on Friday kind of video. For my 5th grader, we did a couple of picture books. So in the morning we did There Was an Old Lady Who Swallowed a Turkey. This is just fun. He likes to read it and be very silly while reading a very silly book. So that was good. And then part of our fun Friday is that we are doing a book study for this week and next week. And so we read Balloons Over Broadway, and this is the true story of the puppeteer of Macy's Parade. So I talked about this in my Thanksgiving plans video. Our family loves to watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade every year and just have fun with it. So I heard of this book and decided that that's so cool. And then I found a whole study that went along with it on Teachers Pay Teachers. So yesterday we read this and then we did a little bit of copy work and we watched a video kind of the history of the parade. That was a lot of fun. I really love the artwork in this book. Find a really good example, kind of like this. It's kind of multimedia approach. Oh yeah, like this. It's just so well done. So we had a lot of fun doing this. And then my 5th grader actually finished Book Scavenger, so he had 2 tabs left, but instead of doing spelling yesterday, we used that time to do the last tab. So he really enjoyed this. He gave it 5 stars. I'm going to see if he wants to read. I think there's at least one more. Yeah, there's a book 2 in it. So this was a nice little book for him to read. And then for our read aloud, we read In the Footsteps of Crazy Horse, and we just did a tab for it. So, we're 45 pages into it now. It's not a long book, so I'm hoping that we can pick it up a couple times this weekend and then hopefully finish it next week before we do Thanksgiving break. And then for my 9th grader, so he read the second part to How to Read Literature Like a Professor. I think it was chapter 12. Yeah, so he read chapter 12 and finished that up. It's a book. And then, of course, he is reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so he put on the audio to this while he was doing some drawing. We have finished this 30-day drawing book, but he got a little bit behind in it, so it's nice that he's doing the audio for this because during that reading time, he can listen to it and draw at the same time. So that is what he did yesterday. We are really excited for him to finish this because we have now caught up with all the movies and we want to watch this one. My kids have actually seen this movie and I have not. They went with their grandfather one time when it was in theaters and saw it. So I am dying to sit down and watch it. So we are all anxiously awaiting for him to finish it. And then I want to finish up and talk about what I read this week. It was a fantastic reading week for me. Could have been a little bit more sometimes, but I will take it because I did finish The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That is done. And then I read Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaughey. I am giving this one 4 stars. I think maybe a low 4-star. That might be an unpopular opinion. I think that a lot of people really liked this and I really enjoyed it too. I just think that there were some things that were kind of too mysterious and then kind of left as it was. I could have figured out, I would have liked to see how, everybody on the island is hearing voices and talking to voices and things like that. And really only one of them kind of comes to terms with that. Nobody else really does. So, it was just kind of things like that. There's a little bit of a romance in this that I just thought was kind of, I don't know, rushed. Yeah, it was rushed, in my opinion. But overall, I really liked the plot of this. I liked figuring out what was happening. There was definitely some mystery and mysterious things happening on this island. So, low 4 stars. And then I was able to start Quicksilver by Callie Hart. Including reading that I did this morning, I am 100 pages in. Obviously, I still have a lot to go, but it is kind of interesting rereading. I don't reread books very often. I am doing it because when I read this, it was a 5-star book. And to give the best chance for the second book, Brimstone, I always forget the title of it, I want to remember everything that happened in this book. It's a nice kind of easy read because I remember some of what happens, and things that I don't remember, I'm like, oh yeah, then it comes back. So that was a fun book to start. All right, so there we are. That is everything that we read as a homeschooling family from Monday to Friday. It was a fantastic reading week. I love all the different books that we can pull in and read together as a family or read on our own. It's one of my favorite things about homeschooling. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below, and I will be back for more videos soon.